On today's upcoming attractions episode, we got trailers for Judas and the Black Messiah and The Devil All the Time, plus reviews for Palm Springs and Project Power. Also the MDF game, and more. All this on Midnight Double Feature.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another upcoming attractions episode. I'm here with my main man, Matt, as I always am, every couple of weeks. How you doing, Matt?
Yo, not bad. Exciting times at Midnight Double Feature.
Dude, super exciting. It feels like such a load off our shoulders, I think, with all the announcements this week. If you guys aren't tuned in to our socials, where you can find all of our announcements, I'm going to plug them real quick. Plug the socials real quick, and then we can get into the announcements themselves. So our socials, you can join us on the After Party, which is our Facebook group. That's where our community comes together and talks all things movies. We're on Instagram, which is at Midnight Double Feature, Twitter, which is at MDF Pod. We're on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever. You can email us, midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com, whatever. If you aren't following us by now, I don't know what you're doing. But no, honestly, like those are the first places to get notified of our big announcements that we are currently. No. Actually, by the time this episode drops, everything will have been announced. So
yeah,
we have announced a Patreon called the Green Room, which is super exciting. So that's where people can sign up to become exclusive members of the Green Room.
And Zohab, if I was to join the Green Room as a Patreon subscriber, what would I get?
Yeah, so you would get like bonus episodes. We actually have 2 episodes up there right now. 2 awesome episodes. Dude, one of them, we cover The Mummy, the 1999 Stephen Sommers The Mummy. And that movie, for anyone who is a part of the After Party, that is for you guys, man, because the After Party have been super vocal about The Mummy, and we were just like, all right, look, there's no better movie to actually kick off our bonus feed than The Mummy. So that was really fun, man. That was a 3-hour plus episode.
And one of the very few episodes with all 4 hosts on it.
Right, exactly. And look, the runtime is 3 hours, something, whatever, hours. That's not always going to happen on the bonus feed. I don't want to set a precedent, but, it'll happen here and there. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen on the bonus feed. So there you go. And you can also we've launched our merchandise, which is fucking exciting, dude. You can get t-shirts, you can get mugs. And if you're a member of the Green Room, you will get 25% off your entire order. So if you order everything together, so if you get multiple shirts and multiple mugs, whatever, you can apply a code to your checkout, and that will give you 25% off. So basically, your fee for paying for the Green Room Patreon is free because you're buying the merch.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, if you think about it like that, it's pretty good. But yeah, man, like that's only a tip of the iceberg of what we have planned for the bonus feed. We have a lot more coming. We also have our new podcast that we just launched called Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast. I know. Colin and I have been hard at work in the background and behind the scenes setting this up. And this also is tied into our Patreon feed because we have things set up or in the future where we're going to get a guest to cover a wrap-up, a season wrap-up. And we already have a guest lined up, and we're not going to announce who that is yet. But if you're a Patreon member, that's going to drop on the Patreon for you, not on the Bad Crystal main feed. So if you are interested in Breaking Bad, if you've never seen Breaking Bad, if you're an expert on Breaking Bad, this show is going to appeal to everyone because Colin's never seen the show, and we take it episode by episode. And I've seen the show 3 times, so I know what's going to happen. I know how things are going to play out. So it's designed for veterans and newcomers to Breaking Bad, which is really awesome. So that's a weekly podcast. It's entirely free, but we will be having bonus episodes offshoots from Bad Crystal that will appear in the Green Room feed. So that's really awesome. And last but not least, like I said, we have launched our merchandise, which is shipping globally everywhere. And, you can get that in various sizes, whatever. If you have any issues, you can email midnightdoubleFeature@gmail.com. We'll get things fixed up for you. But off that, the way to access that is via the website, which, Matt, you've been working on very hard. Talk to me about the website.
Yeah. So midnightdoublefeature.com. Pretty exciting stuff. And it's not just a website with, look, it's a picture with a link to our podcast feed. No, we didn't phone it in. There's some shit in here. So not a lot of shit, but there's some good shit. So in addition to just giving you the laydown on MDF, Bad Crystal, and a link to our merch, we also got a section for the written reviews. Danny's been really helpful with that and collecting them. But a lot of times in the after party, you'll notice there are some written reviews that pop up every now and then. About 80% of the time it's by Zoheb, but yeah.
Hey, I like writing, okay? I like to write.
Yeah.
I want to flex my writing skills.
Yeah, but there's a few others in there too. And we've been like putting them in. So if you want to see a little bit more information, got that in there. Plus with links to the podcasts. Look, I'll be honest, it may take a while to update it. Sometimes I'm just realizing the Dark Waters written review does not have a link to the interview we did recently relating to that, so I got to update that. But yeah, it's a little bit of extra content if you want. Also links out to the green room, social media. So if you want to figure out where a link is to something, you can go there.
Right, it's our main hub.
Yeah, it's like a main hub. If you want to just find something you can't find, it's all there. Which is pretty,
because it's
pretty
about
cool.
goddamn time, right? Like, I mean, like we are 2.5 years into this podcast and we've only just launched a website, which, I mean, like, we've been talking about a website for so long. It's just like none of us, got off our ass and took the initiative, and you did. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's about time that, I think Midnight Double Feature, we're all really proud of what's going on. We're really grateful for the fans, and we just want to show a commitment to you guys that we're here to stay, that this is, we are a legit podcast that wants to keep on rolling, and we want to be with the big boys. So got a nice website, makes it look professional. We got merch for people who want to rock it, because I'm pretty sure some people have asked for that. I know we've had people asking for a Patreon, which is kind of crazy. People saying, "Hi, we please give you money?" On the day we dropped our Patreon, we started getting people signing up pretty fast. We were all very surprised,
like immediately.
Yeah, I think our first one was Patrick, and like Zoheb posted it, and like 30 seconds later, Zoheb's like, Patrick signed up. So it's amazing. So shouts to him, and then everyone else who signed up that day, and continuing to. It's just really cool to see the love and support we've got. And if you're a Midnight Double Feature fan, there's never been a better time, because in addition to your regular content, you're still getting upcoming attractions, you're still getting feature presentations, you're still going to get the occasional special episode here and there. But in addition to that, if you want to go on the Patreon, you've got extra episodes if you want. And if you want extra episodes for free, you can check us out on Bad Crystal. So we're producing probably more than double the content we usually do. So that should be, we're aware it's going to be a challenge, but we like a challenge. We hope you guys are excited as much as we are.
Absolutely, man. So that's enough of us plugging it. Like, this is the first time we've actually been able to plug it on an episode. And I just realized it went for nearly 10 minutes. But I mean, hey, look, you know what? You gotta let us peddle our wares. There's no advertising on this podcast except us advertising ourselves. So there you go.
I think we're allowed to be excited for at least once.
Absolutely. No, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm always excited when I jump on the mic with you. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're excited about this. We want to like pat ourselves on the back. So excuse me.
Matt, are you saying you're not excited when you talk to me? What is happening here?
Cat's out the bag. Cat is out the bag.
I'm going guys, for the Oscar. Everything we just announced, we're just shutting down right now. Close the website. Close the website.
Oh fuck. Look. Just before, I'm looking for a segue here into news.
There's none. There is
earlier,
none.
So speaking of Bad Crystal, no, I've got one. I've got a good one.
Okay,
speaking of Bad Crystal, speaking of Breaking Bad, a Breaking Bad actor is going to be in Judas and the Black Messiah. what's his name? Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons.
Who we fucking
well
love.
Done.
And I think is pretty solid casting for this. But Zoheb, tell me about Judas and the Black Messiah.
Holy fucking shit, dude. This trailer just dropped out of nowhere a couple weeks ago. I think it was like right after we dropped our last episode. And I was like, oh no, I gotta wait 2 weeks to talk about this now. But man, am I excited for this? This might be one of the best trailers I've seen in a very long time, just in terms of like introducing me to a real, actual historical political figure, but also just letting you know what the tone and energy this movie's going to have, man. Like, this trailer just came out firing, dude. Like, it's a short trailer, but it's just so full of life, so full of energy. Dude, Daniel Kaluuya is an actor that, you know, like, he's been going for it, dude, and pretty much everything he's in. Like, Get Out, right? Get Out was his, like, big breakout role, even though he was in Sicario before. So, I mean, like, listen to these, dude. Listen to these choices, right? These, like, actual film choices. So, Sicario, right? Like Get Out, Black Panther, Widows, and then Queen and Slim, which I heard was fantastic. I haven't had a chance to see yet.
Same.
But, I mean, like, talk about that kind of, like, you know, incline, dude. Like, you know, like,
I've actually
insane.
been thinking about it, and this will tie into our next trailer with Tom Holland, but I think something that Tom Holland and some like Daniel Kaluuya have in common is the type of roles they're getting, I don't think were common 5 years ago, even. Like, we would get a movie like one of these once every 5 to 10 years. And now with like a star that's growing as big as Daniel, like it feels like we're getting one every year. One of these really big around this theme that only like this type of actor can play. And like, that's pretty awesome. And it's really cool to see, like, it happens all the time. Like, an actor who starts their rise, they sort of get in their own, I don't want to say they're pigeonholed into a genre, but there's something they're good at, you know? And
right.
The way that he can bring emotion to a role, and like, I'm dancing around it, but like, he just owns his like heritage and nationality, and the way that he always picks his scripts that really tie and focus in on that. So they're always important stories that it's good to be told, but they're often the ones that haven't been historically shown as much. But the fact that he's such a talented actor when it comes to like raw emotion, and these scripts allow it to, and it looks like this film's gonna be like one of those as well. It's pretty cool. And the reason I compared to Tom Holland is like, he's a pretty young kid getting these big roles, but like 5 years ago, I can't think of many child stars or whatever who were doing these big roles. Like, I guess there was
really
like
a child. He's like 20, isn't he like 24, 25?
Yeah, but he plays young. He plays young. Like only I can think of like Macaulay Culkin back in the day, but like he was really young, that guy. And besides that, like, who else is there? Like, I'm struggling to think of another one. I guess Daniel Radcliffe, but he pretty much exclusively did Harry Potter movies for like ages.
I mean, Millie Bobby Brown, Lucas Hedges, Jacob Tremblay. I'm just looking up a list. Like, none of them are on
the level of star power and doing these big, except for Millie Bobby Brown. She doesn't get as many, but like, she's rising, man. Like, I get really excited when I see a TV show I like, and then an actor starts killing it in Hollywood as well.
Yeah.
But let's go back to Judas and Black Messiah.
Like, because he was in Room. And, you know, I remember there being like conversations for him being nominated for an Oscar, and I'm like, he's like 10 years old.
Look, you could say the same about like maybe Timothée Chalamet, but like, I haven't seen him in much lately.
Right. Oh, he's about to be in Dune. That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Anyway, so look, this movie, Judas and the Black Messiah, is about Fred Hampton, who was the chairman of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. If you don't know the Black Panthers, they were historically huge, and I'm not talking Black Panther as in like, you know, the Marvel comic, because I see you smiling there. Okay, so it
was only a matter of time someone made that reference.
Yeah, but they were revolutionaries. A lot of people call them terrorists because they often went about their operations using violence or, you know, very public acts of, I guess, very public acts of violence. Honestly, that's all I can say. So they were look kind of like down upon, like they were a group of black people who'd come together to change the world, and just the fact that we are still having this conversation today, just the fact that in 2020 we're still talking about this.
I mean, like to compare it to modern, like you got Antifa who actually are like
were
not
declared
violent.
of a terrorist. They were just recently declared a terrorist organization.
Yeah. And the ironic thing is like they actively are like, we are non-violent regardless.
Right.
So they're like even less I guess you could say extremist, but I don't feel like that word's appropriate, but yeah, it's relevant even now.
Right, exactly. But if you look into the story of Fred Hampton and how he died, like I'm trying to do this without spoiling the movie, because it is historically, based on an actual event, right? And even the trailer sets out the fact that Lakeith Stanfield, who, by the way, is also another amazing actor who's popping up in so much shit. Lakeith Stanfield was also in Get Out together with Daniel Kaluuya.
He was L in Death Note. I know most people don't like that movie, but that stands out for me.
right. But you can see like what they're doing with the story. So like Lakeith Stanfield is obviously recruited by the FBI to go undercover in the Black Panther Party to help bring down Daniel Kaluuya, who was the chairman. But if you read into it, it's absolutely fascinating, and I hate that I've spoiled myself with this movie now. But I will be there day one, dude. Just based on this trailer alone, this looks absolutely outstanding. Dude,
I'm gonna hate myself if I don't mention this, but speaking of Lakeith Stanfield, have you ever watched Atlanta?
I watched like 2 episodes.
He plays Darius, and he's like my favorite character from that show. He honestly is a scene stealer. I think he's even better than Donald Glover in many, just because his character is so like out there, and he plays it so well.
There's a few standout actors who've come out of that show, and I'm not just talking Donald Glover. I'm talking Lakeith, and I'm talking Brian Tyree Henry, who was also in Widows. He had a very small bit part in Joker. He played in Atlanta. He played Paperboy.
Paperboy, yeah.
Zazie Beetz was also in Joker, by the way.
Fuck, man. Donald did some good casting with that show. Look, the only other things I got to mention on this is like, I think it's interesting. It's kind of like almost like a reverse Black Klansman. Like instead of a black guy infiltrating like the KKK, it's kind of like it's like a black guy going against the Black Panther Party, but it's against his will. Sort of, there's a lot of similarities in themes.
Yeah. But it's going to be interesting in 2020 watching a cop turn a black man against his own people. It's going to be really interesting to see that on screen.
Well, I just want to tie this back to an earlier comment I made. That's why I think it's amazing casting with Jesse Plemons. Like he plays Sinister so awesomely.
So good, man.
And he's
how good are the shots in the trailer when like they're cheering and he's just in the crowd just looking at Lakeith Stanfield, because Lakeith Stanfield looks so what's the word? Like he looks so torn about it. He's just like, fuck, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
He's gonna kill it. I like to compare. I think it's not like he's kind of like I always forget his name. Gus from Breaking Bad. Actor's name.
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. Something that they've both got in common is like everyone saw their performances in Breaking Bad and go, these guys are fucking awesome. And like, but still, I'm surprised at how little they're killing it in feature films. Like, I'm surprised I haven't seen Giancarlo Esposito in like every fucking feature film as the bad guy. I know he's doing a lot of TV.
I feel like he likes his TV more, right? Like, I mean, like he's about to be in The Boys. He was in Mandalorian. Like he's been in some shit. But like Jesse Plemons has been killing it on the big screen. Like, he was in The Irishman. He was in a movie called Hostiles with Christian Bale. That was pretty good. He was in Black Mass. He was in The Program. He was in The Post. So he's worked for Spielberg.
He was in The Post?
He was in The Post. He was a lawyer. Him. Yeah. He was in Game Night. Don't forget, dude. It's so good in Game Night.
Yeah. I like Game Night, man. That was a good movie.
And then, of course, he was in Vice, right? Like that really unexpectedly awesome part that he played in Vice. But yeah, man, I'm really keen for this.
You convinced me on him. Yeah, he is kind of killing it. Hey, yeah, I think that kind of, I don't know what else to say about this other than I guess what are you saying about the trailer? nowadays it seems like trailers only have one of two options. It's either A, have like a noise that is repeated. In this, it's the I am a revolutionary. Or B, it's like take a popular pop song and then make it creepy with piano. It seems to be every trailer is one or the other.
I disagree with this. We've talked about this. I don't fully agree. I think this trailer is a bit more unique in that way. Well, I mean, like, I am revolutionary.
I'm not dissing it.
No, I get it.
I think it's a good use of it though, because like it's
That
something
fits
that's
what they're going for.
And not only that, but it's a very strong theme throughout the film. Right. So it straight away ties you into, oh, this is what to expect. Right. And I think that's a good use of that.
But not only that, just, you know, the way he says I am a revolutionary and gets them to chant it, it's aggressive, it's violent, and that's what the Black Panther Party were. Like, you know, they wanted to get in your face about being revolutionary and about wanting to change the world.
Yeah. I can only imagine how, because I can never relate to it, but how frustrating it could be when, I know maybe you've tried peaceful stuff, you've tried just getting, you know, bare decent civil rights, be treated like fucking good. And but obviously anyone who's pushed will break. Yeah.
In the trailer, you can see that in his face. Like the way he's talking, like the you know, even just the looking around the room, dude, like he's just like, say it after me, I am. Like he's so fucking pissed, dude. Like, and I get that from however long this trailer is. And this just shot to like one of my most anticipated movies of the year.
I'm really curious.
Tenet, Dune, you know, like this is up there now.
When's Dune coming out? Is that this year still?
Dune is still slated for a December release, but it's going to be delayed because Denis Villeneuve has already kind of commented that he's like been doing editing from his home and it's not working out.
Right, yeah, that's totally understandable. I think the only other thing I'm thinking about is how are they going to portray the Black Panther Party? Like in this trailer, you know, it's very short, so it's kind of interesting. It seems like they're not like trying to make them too sympathetic. They're not hiding the fact that they were violent, that they went through some extreme measures, but we're also seeing it from like their point of view, it feels like. So there is still like a lot of sympathy for those characters. I think it would be a really hard, as a director, a really hard topic to tackle. I'm just really curious to how they're gonna draw that line. Walk that line. Do you know much about this director?
The person's name is Shaka King. I haven't really heard of them. The only notable sort of person in terms of filmmakers is the producer Ryan Coogler. Like obviously Ryan Coogler did Creed and Black Panther and Fruitvale Station. Look, I've been on record plenty of times saying that the producer credit doesn't mean much to me at all. But I am keen. Like I'm super excited, dude. Like it looks like they know what they're doing. And I also really want to shout out the title. I love the title, Judas and the Black Messiah, because that tells you exactly. If you didn't show me a trailer, that tells me exactly what the movie's about. It tells me that there's a black savior and there's Judas involved who is the betrayer. Like I can't. I'm so excited for this.
I'm waiting for the internet to recut this trailer to Lady Gaga's Judas. That's all I can say now.
Oh,
some meme lord will do it.
Kill me right now.
Let's move on.
Why do you have to ruin it? Why do you have to ruin everything?
Let's move on to our another pretty big film in terms of cast, The Devil All the Time. I gotta say with this one, straight away, I'm having trouble understanding the concept or the storyline. Do we know what's happening? It looks cool, but I don't know if I understand what's going on.
Yeah, so it looks like that there's a bit of there's a bit of a time, sort of like a time difference, right? So Tom Holland is a young boy who had a father who went to war, and he's kind of like traumatized by his father's, I guess, stories or tellings. So this is the premise, and I read it for you. This is from Netflix because it's a Netflix exclusive. In Knockemstiff, Ohio, and its neighboring backwoods, sinister characters, an unholy preacher, played by Robert Pattinson, twisted couple, played by Jason Clarke and Riley Keough, and Crooked Sheriff, played by Sebastian Stan, converge around young Arvin Russell, played by Tom Holland, as he fights the evil forces that threaten him and his family. It's based on a book by Donald Ray Pollock. I've never heard of it until like a month ago, but this trailer kind of blew me away. I was really, really, really excited based on this trailer, dude. Like, it looks fantastic. Everyone looks like they're bringing their A game, including Tom Holland, dude. Like, I need to see Tom Holland in like in an acting role. Like, you know, like I'm not saying that Spider-Man is not an acting role. He gets a lot to chew on, but I need him to be given serious dramatic material.
Yeah, there's a lot of meat on these bones, it looks like.
Right, and I want to see him knock it out of the park. Plus, I really want to see more out of Robert Pattinson, man. Like, that guy post Twilight is killing it, man.
He's popping up everywhere now. I feel like I can't escape him. And you know what? I'm kind of okay with it. I'm not mad.
Have you seen Good Time?
I haven't, but I hear great things.
It's on Netflix. Check it out, dude.
Will do. You just know that all these actors, when they got pitched this role, got really excited to do an accent. And that's the first thing that actually occurred to me. It's like, oh, Tom Holland is doing a pretty good, what would you call it? I don't want to say redneck, but southern, a pretty good southern accent. But he already killed it with doing like a
accurate.
Yeah. But he, I just don't want to offend any viewers here. But yeah, like he did a great American accent for Spider-Man. So why am I shouldn't be surprised at all. I also want to put a shout out to, what's his name?
I want to shout out Bill Skarsgård, dude. Bill Skarsgård is second billed in this movie. He plays Tom Holland's father. Bill Skarsgård is Pennywise from It. So this is his first. Like, it's not his first movie role, but it's a big sort of like movie role for him where he's not covered in makeup.
Right. Thanks for covering me there. Yeah, the guy I was looking for, Jason Clarke.
I know you don't like Jason Clarke.
Well, you know what? I don't like him as a protagonist. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he would fucking kill it as a good bad guy. And we sort of got a taste of that in Terminator.
You didn't like him in War for the Planet of the Apes?
Sorry?
You didn't like him in... it's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is the second one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, like, I just thought it was kind of bland, but, like, I still love that movie. But I think, like, he's got a face that just makes me think, yeah, he's evil. Like, even when he's playing a likable character. So I feel like, I know, we see a couple scenes where, in this trailer, where he seems kind of sinister-ish, and I'm like, okay, I think this might be something I'd want to see him in. I think he could win me over with this film. I honestly think, I know it's like, of all the actors, I'm pointing him out, but like, I have a feeling he's going to win me over on this one.
Okay.
I don't have like a major good reason why, but yeah, I think he has potential to be like a really good supporting actor. I
really like Jason Clarke because, I mean, anyone who's Australian automatically gets a pass in my book. So
yeah. Look, you got to show love for holding down the hometown. Also, another Marvel actor, Sebastian Stan in this, Robert Pattinson. This is like just wall to wall filled with like big names, which is pretty exciting. In fact, I saw
Riley Keough is also Australian. She was in Mad Max Fury Road.
Gotta love the Aussies, man. I remember seeing a comment in the after party. I can't remember who said it, so my apologies. But I was talking about how does it seem like nowadays there are more movies with a lot of huge names?
Yeah, I saw this comment, and I mean,
I think I agree.
I don't know, like what? Okay, I don't get that kind of. I don't get what they're trying to say there. What can you maybe
it's the way I interpreted it, but think about this, right? Dr. Dolittle, huge cast. Lion King, huge cast. And now those are more animated, so yeah, but it just feels like there are more of those movies where you see the trailer and they list like 10 names and you're like, oh my God, these are all like A-list. Like they could all be leading characters because the actors
like movies big. With an ensemble cast, like a...
Yeah, or Knives Out is another example. Like a lot of those actors are huge names. Like most movies, you get like a couple of big names, but then it's like an ensemble cast and there's 10 plus characters and like 8 of them are like big names.
I agree with some of that. I mean, like I don't agree with
like it existed before, but it feels like we're getting more of that now.
and there are like smaller movies out there with like one or two big actors. Like, like it's still there. Like maybe it's just an advertising thing. Maybe it's just the frequency that they're coming out. I don't know, but like I really haven't noticed this thing.
Yeah, it just seems like there's a lot more when there's like.
But the two examples that you gave are voice performances.
Yeah, and like, so like that's where it, and that's why I mentioned that, because like that's where it's like there's an asterisk to it, because when it's voice performance, it's a lot cheaper to have them on board. Maybe you just need an actor for a day or two. Yeah, but I thought that was an interesting comment. I don't really have anything else to say about this movie other than
I'm keen.
I'm generally curious. I still don't think I understand what's going on, but I think it's one of those movies I just got to see it. Yeah, it's the opposite problem we get. Like often we see too much, and with this, I just see a lot of dramatic shit that goes, "Oh, this looks like it'll be a good actor showcase."
Well, it's funny that we talked about this and Judas and the Black Messiah back to back, because Judas and the Black Messiah did a really good job of telling you what this story is going to be about under 2 minutes, right? Whereas I think this movie's trailer makes a concerted effort to, although tell you what's going on, for the most part, it holds a lot back, and you can tell that it's holding a lot back. And both trailers are effective. Like both trailers are both trailers result in us wanting to see both movies,
Yeah, I think it helps that both trailers are promoting what looks like to be pretty good movies. I'm sure that really helps in the editing room. I don't know much about this director, Antonio Campos, but they had his name. He's
done a lot of TV.
Right. It seems like they were really putting his name front and center. So it's like, am I supposed to know this guy? Did he win an Oscar I don't know about or something? Does he stand out to you at all?
Not particularly. He did The Sinner, but I mean, yeah, I don't think so. Maybe he had like final cut on that trailer. I don't know.
yeah. That's sometimes how it works. Sometimes in like the contracts, it'll be like, look, yeah, I'll do it for $5,000 or less, but you better put my name in big fucking letters, okay? Anyways, let's
exactly
move on.
Like that. He swears at the marketing team.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, come on, man. Just don't swear in the email.
Dude, we are Netflix. Like, we will kick you out.
Do you know who we are? Hans Zimmer did our themes intro.
By the way, that's not new. I don't know why all the trades are kind of running with this story, because that opening with that music is not new. We watched Marriage Story last year, and it was in front of Marriage Story with the same music. I remember literally sitting down and watching that with all the colors and shit, and they're like thinking, "Well, that's new. Okay, that's cool, right? I didn't know this was a Netflix movie."
You know what?
And
actually,
the same thing happened with The Irishman too.
You know what? I don't actually remember seeing it, but I remember you commenting on it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how I remember
that's the kind of shit that I'll comment on too.
And I do remember. I have a slight disappointment with Hans Zimmer's take on it, where the badung, it's lighter. I wish he kept the original badum and then had the music with it. But
there is no disappointment with Hans Zimmer.
I'm not going to tell him how to do his job.
I will murder you.
I'm not going to tell him how to do his job. He can tell me how to do podcasts. He knows more about audio than I do.
I don't think he needs you to tell him how to do his job.
It's like, I can't hear you over the $10 billion in my ears right now.
Well, by the way, actually, I read something very recently, just slightly off track a little bit. He's doing the score for Dune. So, and it's funny because he always, I think ever since, hold on, let me just very quickly look this up.
This is an intermission. I am stalling for time.
So he did the music for pretty much every Christopher Nolan movie from The Dark Knight onwards. So 2008 onwards, including Batman Begins. He didn't do it for The Prestige, but it's funny because Tenet is out this year, and he goes to Christopher Nolan. He's like, "Hey man, I'm sure you'll understand, but I can't do Tenet because I really want to do Dune."
Fuck.
Imagine telling Christopher Nolan no.
I mean, what can you say? But aw.
Yeah, but Christopher Nolan, kind of, it was a bit of a win-win situation because he did Hans Zimmer did Dune. And Ludwig Göransson is doing Tenet, who won an Oscar for Black Panther. and is also doing Judas and the Black Messiah as well.
What, for original score?
Yeah, for original score, he won the Oscar for Black Panther.
I did not realize that.
Black Panther has an Oscar, yeah.
Yeah, I knew. Didn't it have another one too, like for VFX or something? No, it wouldn't be VFX, not with that end fight scene. I think it got nominated.
God, nerds love to go to that end fight scene and bring down that movie, don't they?
Yeah, well, apparently they did it in like 6 weeks. So, like, shout out, like, if anything, that's an achievement.
So it. This is not okay. So it won 3 Oscars. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, they're all like in like what you might call minor categories, but it won 3 Oscars.
I'm wondering what it won now.
I think one was for costume design. I mean,
Jesus Christ. Fuck off.
If it deserves anything, it would be that, I imagine. And then it sounds like score. And then, that's right. I remember thinking the score was like, oh yeah, it's cool because they had like traditional African stuff, like music, like cinematic.
That. Yeah, I picked that, dude. Like that was one of my like correct guesses because like the score in Black Panther is just absolutely incredible. Like it combines the traditional and the modern together.
And that's what made the costume design so great as well.
Right. Well, yeah, it won for costume design and it won for production design. So there you go.
Right, yeah. So I think the same like would apply to all 3. It's just such a unique vision. It was so cool. Let's move on though. Let's move on to reviews, shall we?
Shall we?
So our first review today is we were going to do this last episode, but you knew I'd like this movie, so you said, okay, I'll hold off, and I didn't get a chance to watch it. So I really apologize. But Zohab, tell us all about Palm Springs.
Good day so far? Today, tomorrow, it's all the same.
You! What is going on? Hey, get out of the water!
Guess you followed me. It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
That I might have heard about?
Yeah.
So essentially, I've had to hold off my review and forget most of this movie for you not to see this movie ultimately. But no, I actually did.
I will watch it, but yeah.
I did do a rewatch before we actually jumped on here. So yeah, it's actually a very easy watch, dude. It's only like 90 minutes or something like that, 100 minutes. But it's very short. It's very to the point. Like there's no fucking around. There's no wasted minutes. In short, dude, it is outstanding. It is such a fantastic movie. And I wish this is a non-spoiler review, by the way, because you haven't seen it and I really want you to. I wish that the trailer did not give away the concept. I wish we walked in there without knowing that this is a movie where there are time loops, which there are.
Is that like portrayed as like it's meant to be a surprise?
No. Well, no, because they get it over and done with very quickly. But
cool.
And this is again in the trailer, they make it like the twist. The twist is that Andy Samberg's character knows he's already in a time loop when Kristen Miliotti's character comes in. So like it's kind of like, hey, welcome to the time loop. I'm already here. Let me show you how it's done, kind of thing. And the movie opens with him already in the loop, like in loop number 257 or some shit.
Oh.
So like it's already like it hits the ground running, dude, immediately. There's no wasted time. The directors know exactly who. Like they know their audience basically, right? Like they know what they've sat down and watched because I guess they've seen the trailer. They know that we've seen the trailer. Unfortunately, because I wish they really, I don't know. I wish they buried the lead. Honestly, like it would have been so fantastic to sit down and thinking that you're watching a romantic comedy, like a straight up romantic comedy, when instead you're watching a kind of like a very clever time loop film. And me saying that it's a clever time loop film is very reductive because they find really smart ways around things. They find really smart explanations. But the strongest element of this movie is the chemistry between its leads, Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti. Especially Kristen Milioti, dude. I just want to shout out her because she is outstanding. And like I know
I
that
man.
I have
She's
a bit of a she is so good, dude. Black Mirror, that USS Callister episode with Jesse Plemons, she was incredible. She was also in Fargo with Jesse Plemons. Jesus Christ, Jesse Plemons showing up everywhere. She was also very briefly in Wolf of Wall Street. She was his first wife. But yeah, like she's absolutely incredible, dude. And you'd expect that it's Andy Samberg here who's going to be carrying this movie on his shoulders. And while he is fantastic and that's the first time I've ever called Andy Samberg fantastic because I
you're
don't
not a big
like
fan
Andy
of him, are
Samberg
you?
otherwise.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't.
See, I love him,
I just don't like his humor. I just don't like his humor, and I don't like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm sorry. I just don't. Like
What are we
that
gonna do with
show.
you?
That show, very briefly, is made by its supporting characters and not its lead. Like it's
my
very
God.
much. Yeah, I know.
You're hurting me, man.
It is.
Why
It
you do this to
totally
me?
is. I'm sorry. But anyway, look, Palm Springs, very clever comedy, very touching at points, dude. It's really like honestly hits you in the feels, dude. J.K. Simmons is in this movie. I fucking love J.K. Simmons, right? Like, I mean, anyone who heard us cover Whiplash on the podcast knows that I love J.K. Simmons, and he turns in such a wonderful and just very inspired and fantastic performance, dude. I can't tell you how fantastic J.K. Simmons is in this movie. It's a movie that you need to watch, and just something that you really need to experience. And I really wish I'd seen this on the big screen. I just didn't. But yeah, I dead set really underestimated this movie. You know, like I actually kind of like went in thinking that this was like a, you know, run of the mill comedy with like a time loop thing chucked in. So I was like, oh yeah, cool, whatever. And then like, you know, I did my kind of like little analysis that I do and saw that everyone was reviewing it really well. And I was like, wow, this is getting fantastic word of mouth. So I went in, watched it, and it blew my mind. I'm going to settle, like it's definitely, if I was to make a top 10 list right now of the year, and it's not a great year, it's definitely somewhere around 5.
Wow.
It's really good, dude. Really rewatchable as well. And with very likable leads. So I'm going to give it, I don't like giving 0.5s. So I'm going to go 9, but it's still very good.
Cool, man. Yeah, like as we've pretty much implied, I'm a big Sandberg fan. I love The Lonely Island, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's kind of crazy. I haven't seen this yet, so hopefully next episode I have, and we can have a more spoilery talk about it.
Totally.
And yeah, what's her name? Kristen
Milioti.
I call her the mother from How I Met Your Mother. A lot of people didn't like that final season that she was a lead in. I liked it. I thought she was great. But my favorite performance from her, she has an amazing episode with in Raven's Banquet on Apple TV Plus. It is another great performance.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, man, if you're in Fargo, you're incredible already, automatically. So there you go.
All right. Let's move on to Netflix's Project Power. Zoheb, I haven't spoken to you about this. Did you see it?
I have not seen Project Power.
Okay, I guess I'll carry this one.
Oh, actually, I was intending to watch Project Power last night, but you know what I did instead? I went to the movies to watch Inception for its 10th anniversary.
That's funny because I watched it on Netflix just the other day. Should we review Inception? Should we just do a review?
Guys, it's incredible. You got to see Inception. But actually, I watched it very briefly before you do get into your Project Power review. I watched it at the movies, and it's got about a 15 to 20 minute introduction, like a featurette.
I didn't know that. Fuck.
So it's got like a 10-minute kind of like making of Tenet, which is incredible and really, really fantastic. And I was like, holy shit. And then it's got like a 10-minute featurette of Christopher Nolan talking about how well Inception's aged and talking about how people still come up to him and like, you know, they talk to him about the practical filmmaking of Inception and things like that and how he was able to pull it off. So yeah, if Inception is playing near you for its 10th anniversary, I highly recommend going to check it out because those 2 featurettes alone are worth it. By the way, I'm checking out fucking Tenet on Saturday and I'm so excited.
Woo! Man, I wish I knew that. Fucking hell. Okay, so Project Power.
I don't know who I am and what I'm about, but I'll do anything to find that source.
Listen to my voice. Am I lying?
Welcome to Project Power. Our goal is simple: the next evolution of the human species.
You ever taken one of those before? It can make you strong, make you invisible. You never know what your power is until you try it.
You push that power, don't you?
Yeah.
On the streets, they're talking about superpowers, but they're not talking about how one hit could kill you.
Do you want me to keep the spoiler free or nah?
Yeah, sure. I don't give a shit.
Like, there's not really a lot to spoil, but yeah. Project Power on Netflix. Jamie Foxx, Jason Gordon-Levitt. It's a cool concept. So the concept is there's a drug going around. They're like these little pills. You take one, you got a power for 5 minutes. The trailer sort of implies that, at least I took away, it's a different power every time because you don't know what power it is. But no, everyone sort of has their own dormant superpower, and the pill sort of unlocks it. Like, for example, Machine Gun Kelly's in this. I swear to God, he's in so many Netflix shit now.
You love him.
And he's like a Human Torch sort of guy, and that's a really cool scene. Like, I was watching the behind the scenes of it, and like they created like a suit with LED lights in it just to get the lighting right and stuff. This movie, and it's a good example of the special effects in this film because they are pretty good. Even though it's a really stylized, like, color grading and stuff. It's like the effects are pretty cool for what it is. But that being said, the concept, okay, so it is pretty interesting. And what they do is, without going too much in detail, it's like a whole government conspiracy. They're funneling drugs through these like cities, and there's a whole sort of like take on like people, like they treat it like it's a drug. Like they're treating it as if like the people who take the superpowers are like junkies. And so it's kind of like you'll look down on. It's not addictive, but like the people who are taking it, like, are living in crack houses. They're all poor. They're often desperate. Joseph Gordon-Levitt character takes it, and like he almost loses his job for that. Like the police sort of like don't respect him for doing that. So it's kind of like, it seems to be like it's got some sort of commentary on like drugs and like the war on drugs, but it never really like dives into it. So
it's very like surface level.
Well, yeah, like they don't even have a message about it. So it's something I was just picking up as I was going along. It's like, okay, this feels like the war on drugs, but they don't really say anything about it or dive into it. So I don't know if that's just like part of the inspiration or if I'm just taking something away from it myself. But yeah, like it's fine. The movie's fine. Like the action scenes are all right. I do like the mystery element of it. The performances are solid. There's one big thing I have a problem with this film. And there's this character, I forget her name. She's this young girl who deals this power drug.
Dominique Fishback is
that might be her name. But so her character has like this dream of being like a famous rapper, and she has, I think, 2 or 3 scenes where she raps without a beat, and I found them really fucking cringy. Don't get me wrong, I love 8 Mile. I love a good rap sort of thing. I love Bodied. I love a lot of rap movies, but every time this girl starts rapping, like she'll rap to someone and they'll just stand there and watch her rap, and it's awkward as fuck, and it feels so out of place with the movie because the whole movie is really serious, and then you get to these scenes and it's kind of like, what the fuck does this have to do with the story? I get it, she has big dreams, but it doesn't really tie into anything, and I really, really fucking wish they took these scenes out because it adds nothing except making me cringe. And it's been a long time since I cringed at a movie. I'll see something and say, that's bad, I don't like that. But this, like, I felt cringy, and I was not fucking with it, hey. But that being said, that actress, she does a fine job. Just those scenes I think are fucking weird. But overall, like, Project Power, it's fine. It's a nice movie you can do to kill the time. It's an interesting take on like the superhero formula. I think there are some cool effects, but overall, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's something to write home about, but it's cool to see Netflix are coming out with these originals that are trying to have like big budget and like blockbuster type things.
$85 million, that's huge.
It is, and like, look, those are big names. Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, they are big names. Speaking of Inception, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, right? Those are big names, and yeah, I just think. Yeah, it wasn't that great, but it was all right. I'll give it like maybe a 7. It doesn't do anything wrong. It's just nothing was too exciting for me.
The guy that wrote this movie, Mattson Tomlin, is a co-writer on the upcoming The Batman.
Huh. You know what? That is interesting because this movie has a very sort of strong detective element to it.
Okay.
So I can see how that could dive into something like Batman, which we hear is a bit of a detective story. And those are fine as well. But yeah, nothing too crazy.
That's a very thrilling perspective you have on Project Power.
Yeah, there's not really much to say on it, I think. Like it's fine. It does nothing too wrong. I think it's got some really creative stuff in it, but I was never like, holy fuck,
I haven't heard the most amazing things. The only thing that I've really heard is that Dominique Fishback's character, the one that you were talking about, she kind of doesn't really factor into the story all that much. Like, she's kind of like a bit of a side sort of gig.
I think she's like one of the type of, it's not the first time we've seen this, but she's kind of like a character who gets brought into it just as a way that we can dump exposition on. Like, she's kind of like she represents the audience. It's how we find out about stuff. But yeah, it really comes down to Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Jamie Foxx. They have like a bit of a rivalry and two different stories, how they come to meet. And she's sort of like their link. But you're right. Like, she doesn't really, I guess, do much at the end of the day.
Okay.
But like, she sort of is there, I feel like, as a plot device rather than a major character. And like, they try and make you empathize with her, but yeah, again, it's just fine.
Yeah, okay. I
it's
mean,
not bad. It's fine.
I wasn't super like that keen on this anyway because of the directors. I mean, who did Paranormal 3 and 4. So, I mean, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm going to give it a skip, I think.
Yeah, it is a pretty looking film, and it's like, it is. I think it's got the novelty effect that I might get out of The Boys in the sense that they will have a superhero or someone with power that's sort of similar to someone else, like there's a guy that's kind of like the Human Torch, there's a guy that's kind of like the Hulk.
That's not the appeal of The Boys. The boy that is,
but that's an element of The Boys though, right?
That is an element. It's not the appeal. Like the appeal is the tone of The Boys, I'd say. Like it's more about the way it's able to juggle the seriousness of something at the same time be absolutely over the top, and at the same time give you an insight into, if you had a power, what would you do with it? Would you be like heroic, or would you be someone? Yeah, look, I'm probably venturing into spoiler territory here, so I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Can you just hurry up and watch The Boys, for fuck's sake?
I'll get on it. One last thing I will say on Project Power, if they made a sequel, I would watch it though, just because I think the concept it's kind of cool. Like, the movie didn't blow me away, but I like the concept, which is like,
there's no talks yet of a sequel. I think maybe it's just a bit early to tell. Like, I don't think it did as well as Extraction, which got announced for a sequel pretty much like immediately.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath for a sequel.
And Netflix actually came out and gave us the numbers for Extraction, whereas like I don't think they will for Project Power, because they are very secretive about their ratings and all that stuff. So
yeah, they're a mystery field out there. But let's move on to the MDF game. Zoheb, what is the MDF game this week?
So we kind of fucked up with the MDF game a little bit. Not like, we did put one out to the after party, which is, the Facebook group and, the community, but it seems like it's disappeared and we can't find the poll. But the question was, what is your favorite action sequence of all time? And, unfortunately, I can't read the comments because I can't, the poll just doesn't exist anymore. But thank you to everyone who voted. I do remember some of the top. I gave out a few examples because, this would have been the longest poll of all time if I listed every single action sequence. But, there were a few in there. There was some from T2. There was some from The Matrix. There was some from Mad Max.
Oh, T2 does have some great ones.
There are literally thousands of endless of great action sequences. If you want to get into Endgame, you got the final sequence of Endgame. If you want to get into fucking...
Can I bring something up I've been thinking about lately?
You got the trench run, right?
The final fight in Endgame, overrated.
Disagree.
I don't think it holds a candle to most of the action scenes in Infinity War. I hate the aesthetic, how it's all brown and dark. Okay, you know what? It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's got some amazing moments, but just visually, I think it's really gross.
This is not the time and place we can talk about this right now. But this... I don't know. I get what you're saying, but no. I'm sorry. Just no. Oh God, I have so much I want to say, but I can't. We don't have the time. We just don't.
Okay, so what's your favorite action movie? action scene.
You gotta guess, dude. I mean, like, you know who I am.
Is it from T2?
It's not from T2.
Is it from a Tarantino film?
I know yours.
What is it?
It's The Matrix. It's Bullet Time, right?
You're so close.
Oh,
you're so
it's the
close.
train sequence. It's the train sequence.
No.
The train station sequence.
Although I have said, I think in a previous NDF game, I said it's a good action scene. It's the lobby shootout.
Oh,
that I can think of.
It. All right.
I just like the music and how fun it is, and like the flips and the destruction.
That scene, overrated.
You know it's not. You know it's not.
The way he flips out around on like obvious wires, I just can't. I don't know if it's aged well, dude. Like,
okay, you know what? I haven't seen it in a long time, and I'll be honest, I haven't seen the poll, and I had to come up with the one pretty last minute. Honestly, if I had to think of one, it'd probably come from a Jackie Chan film or something.
Wow, so you don't have an answer for this.
Well,
so you
I went with the
didn't
lobby.
Play our own game.
Well, I didn't see the poll because it disappeared for some reason, and we don't know why.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the lobby's a safe choice. It's probably one of the first times we saw like practical, like environmental destruction, on that level, and it's just such a cool, visually cool scene. So much that they decided to rip it off like 3 times in Revolutions. But yours is probably. Is it from a Tarantino film?
No.
Is it?
Matt, like what? Hold on. Tarantino doesn't have that many action sequences.
Like maybe Kill Bill or something?
He's got Crazy 88 from Kill Bill, which is one that I put on the actual poll, and actually got a couple of votes. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't associate Tarantino with action. I'd associate him more with dialogue.
Is it the hallway scene in Inception?
Close. Very close. You know what? It's not in Inception, but that was like my second pick. And especially after watching it last night, dude, just the practicality of it, like how they actually did it. And then, you know, Hans Zimmer's score in the background, dude, the way that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is able to like maneuver himself. It's so cool. It's actually outstanding. But no, it's not my favorite sequence. Sequence. My favorite action sequence of all time is in a movie that we've covered already, and it's a little movie known as Mad Max Fury Road. And it's this bike chase. Essentially, they're rolling through the dunes, and it's they're being chased by these guys on bikes. The way that George Miller shoots this scene is absolutely incredible, dude. It's just you get a side on kind of like shot, and you see like in the distance, like the bikes just jumping in dunes. And then, you know, they're there in the foreground as well. But like, not only that, it's kind of like highlighted by Junkie XL's score for that movie, which is my favorite score in that entire movie. I played it on that particular episode of the podcast because it's violins, it's drums, it's absolutely epic. It's intense. But not only that, I love that it's the first time that Furiosa and Max work together. Like they up until that point, they've kind of like been very hostile towards each other. Like just before that, they actually got into a fist fight. But that's the first time you actually see them come together to rescue the wives. It's outstanding, dude. It's hands down my favorite action sequence of all time. It's beautiful. That's cool, man. I think that gets really overlooked. I think of all things, the score can make or break a fight scene. Totally.
In more recent times, I feel like we're getting a lot of action scenes where like they want to highlight the brutality and they don't have like music at all. They keep it silent. Like off the top of my head, I'm thinking Atomic Blonde and The Staircase. There's a million scenes, movies that do it. And I don't like this
it works. Sometimes it works. I'll give you an example where it does, and it's The Dark Knight Rises. It's the first Bane fight. Where they're kind of like in the cave. Yeah, good point. That's because you can hear them breathing. Like you can actually hear Christian Bale's Batman like struggling for breath, and you've got Tom Hardy's Bane like giving the monologue, you know, like I was born and molded by it. Yeah, it highlights the fact that he's losing. And that's you're right. That's a great way of using it. And there's like an element of like dread like throughout that fight. Like, you know it's going to end in something bad for Batman. Yeah, I think like I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I've seen a few movies I think recently where they'll have these action scenes and the music is just so serious. Like it's not even dramatic. It's just like serious. It's like if it's an action scene, I should either be
feeling I should be excited, so give me like an upbeat like drum thing, or I should be feeling like I should be on the edge of my seat. So give me something that's like makes me feel the tension. And if you're not doing one or the other,
pay attention to score so much, dude. I like score. Score will absolutely make or break a movie for me.
The only other example I could say is it's a pretty new one, I would say. I think Guardians of the Galaxy probably started. It's like have like a fun like song over it. Like a great one would be, oh man, such a great scene. What's it called? The Kingsmen in the church.
Oh,
they put on some like rock and roll track. I can't remember what song it is, but it's such a great scene, and the music
they do it at the end too.
Really adds to it. It makes it so fun, and I love seeing that stuff, man. Even like, but sometimes it doesn't work very well. Like, to be honest, as much as I love Umbrella Academy, oh man, so many fight scenes they just put on like they put on a lot of like songs, right? And in the new season, there's one scene where they have like some sort of like indie rock version of Billie Eilish's Bad Guy. And it's like, why are we doing this? Like, you can you're allowed to just have a normal score. It doesn't always have to be, you're just throwing this in because you're trying to follow a trend.
Well, you know me, I'd rather an actual original score than licensed music. Like, that's something that I'd rather go for. I remember I think we had this conversation when we reviewed the Harley Birds of Prey, right? Because Birds of Prey had a lot of licensed music during action sequences, and I was like, I don't really go for that kind of stuff.
I think it's fine if it's like a scene, but it's got to follow the story. Right? If it's a scene where you want the audience to have fun with it, like maybe it's like a moment where your character is feeling very confident or something, that's fine. But also don't overdo it. Like,
yeah, but
you can
not
do
only
once
that, the licensed music just doesn't give me it doesn't drive home the amount of emotion that actual score does. Like an actual composed score does.
Okay, what about Baby Driver?
I think I had this complaint on Baby Driver.
Oh shit! Okay.
Do you remember you were on that episode, weren't you? Or Danny
no,
was?
I wasn't.
I think it was Danny.
I wasn't on the feature.
I had that complaint. I think because I think I said I'd rather have an actual score. Like, dude, the stuff that Hans Zimmer is able to do in Interstellar, right? I mean, if like Interstellar is my favorite original soundtrack of all time. Like that's my study music. That's my running music. I love it. Like it's beautiful. Like the emotions that he's able to elicit from that score is hauntingly brilliant, man. Like, you can't get those emotions from licensed music. I don't care what licensed song it is. You just can't.
But
again, that score fits that film.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Like for that movie, it'd be so weird if just randomly Tupac came on. Unless they address
Tupac,
it.
I don't think Tupac. Like okay, so here's a good example, right? Because Nolan's Interstellar is similar in tone to Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. Similar in tone, right? Very kind of downbeat, very thoughtful. It is.
I can see where you're getting at.
Because
I can see where you're getting at.
Like if you put, I mean, I'm not saying that Man of Steel had this, but the start of Justice League had this. That what is it? Everybody knows that bullshit that starts the credits of Justice League. If you had that in Interstellar or the start of, let's say, Batman Begins, which might be a better kind of like comparison because that's Nolan. If you had that at the start of Batman Begins, dude, I would lose my shit.
Yeah, I think it all comes down at the end of the day. Tone, which circles back to like what we're saying about fight scenes without music. I think it's a really interesting topic because I wish I just had more examples on there. Like for example, I think one of the reasons I love the lobby fight so much is the track they use. Like that do 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 do. That's iconic to me.
That's so of its time though. I don't know. It's
dated. It's dated, but a lot of great shit is. But like that made it of its time, which is why it was good, I would say. Anyways, this is a weird.
I really need to see. The Matrix again. I mean, I love it. I love the Matrix. And look, I say that the lobby fight is overrated. I just don't. When I say overrated, I also say that it's not. I don't think it's the best action sequence in that movie. I think it's the train sequence, the train station sequence. Like that's my all time.
Well, look, in a previous MDF game, it was like one of a favorite scene, and I picked the train sequence. So I'm kind of being a hypocrite.
Well, and also the helicopter, outside the building with the it's the shot up from beneath the helicopter, and you see the shells falling.
Yeah, Man, it's fun to just think of great action scenes. Like the 90s in particular had so many, like late 90s had so many great films with just practical explosions. It's so fun.
Oh, the entirety of Die Hard.
Yeah, from start to finish. John Wick has some incredible scenes in that franchise.
John Wick is a great modern action film. I think, like if we are going to pull out some kind of like classics, I'm gonna say The Rock. Right.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The Rock, and then Bad Boys, the first one. Like a lot of like older Michael Bay ones. I'd definitely go with. You'd probably still go with who else was a great action director back then? Oh God, why can't I think of any?
Like I mentioned before,
is Michael Bay the best director of all time? I'm kidding.
I mean, I don't know how to reply to that. To each their own. Yeah, and look, I could list about 100 scenes from Jackie Chan off the top
This
of my
is
head,
actually a
but I
good
won't.
conversation. This would have been. I don't know how to word this in an MDF game, but I feel like I want to roll this into an MDF game one day.
What? Randomly talk about scenes you like off the top of your head without any preparation. The game,
Right? Exactly. Oh, well, that's his entire podcast, man. I don't know where.
Yeah, you landed.
187 episodes in. Here we go.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up for today. So, Zoheb, usually I do this, but I'm going to throw it to you since you did such a great job at the start. For those who aren't aware of where they can find Midnight Double Feature, where can they find us?
Yeah, so Midnight Double Feature is available everywhere on the planet. We're on our main hub is, I used to say it was on Facebook. It is now midnightdoublefeature.com, which is our website.
That sounds cool to say. Yeah.
Dude, how good, like how awesome is that domain name?
Yeah.
But also our main, like where our community comes together is on Facebook. So our Facebook group is called The After Party. That's 3 words, The After Party. I'm about to run out of breath here. Our Instagram, which is at Midnight Double Feature. Our Twitter, which is at MDF Pod. Those 3 social media websites, if you follow either one of them, you will not miss a piece of Midnight Double Feature news. You'll always be notified of a new episode. You'll always be notified of a new announcement if you follow any one of those 3 social media websites. Please remember to rate and review us on iTunes. That'll be fantastic. Please give a Bad Crystal a shot. Bad Crystal is our new Breaking Bad podcast. It's called Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast. We are hungry for iTunes reviews because we haven't got one yet. We just kicked it off. So that's a weekly podcast that we drop every week. I mean, but yeah, it's fantastic, dude. We have fantastic things coming up. And join the Green Room. The Green Room is where you can access bonus content and a little tidbits. Like if you want 25% off merchandise, there you go. Join the Green Room.
Yeah, we're planning on working on this segment.
Yeah, look, this is totally new to me. I'm sorry. Like it's tough holding something in for so long and then blurting it out, because it's like, take it all, just take it all, please. Just have it all.
I love it. Okay.
But if you do want to find out any more information on anything at all, Colin, Danny, Matt, and I, we don't hide on social media. We're very approachable. You can always just DM any of us, or you can just DM the show.
Well said. Well, anyways, I think that's enough for us this week. We'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks very much. I'm Matt. That's Zoheb. Laters.